Hello everybody, this is Namanjan coming out with a new tutorial. I should say it's gonna be a continuation of the inventory style tutorial, Diablo style. Sorry it's been too long, I've been really busy, but now I'm out here with the continuation. Before I start, I wanted to make a couple of announcements. First thing is, Diablo Reaper of Souls is coming out, so I'll be playing a lot of Diablo, and I want to know if you guys would like to see me play Reaper of Souls and just tell you guys my method of playing Diablo. And second, I'll be making a clan. I don't know my clan name now, but once I make a clan, I will put it in the comments below, in the description, and in the comments below for you guys. So if you want to join, you can join. We can farm, we can have a lot of fun. Also, if you're interested, we could pick up some kinds of certain functionality in Diablo we like, and you guys can request me to code to teach you how to make those kinds of functionality in Unity. So we can also look at Diablo from a programmer's perspective together and see what functionalities we like and implement them in our game, etc. So yeah, now that's out of the way, I'll just put up the Omerta logo sign, the company which I'm working in to release the game. So I'll just come up sometime now. So this is the company I'm working in, and this is the name under which I will release my game. Okay, so now let's get started. So last time we left off with adding items, and for some reason I don't know how this worked last time, but I get errors saying that I get one of these errors. Sorry, no, not over here. One of these errors, object null reference. Well, that's because it actually goes to items over here and executes this statement after it executes this statement. So basically, when you're saying items.armor, this armor is still null and it is still accessing a null object. So basically, what we're gonna do is this is going to be simple. You're just going to understand. You're going to have a test method. So void test. If you didn't understand what's going on, it's fine. You'll just understand in a moment. We're going to copy these two lines over here. We're going to have a private boolean bool test, and then you're going to set test is equal to false. And then in our test method, we're going to get an error saying, test methods. Then we're going to say test is equal to true. So I'll explain you guys what I just did. So basically, because it is executing this line of code before executing this one, it's basically when you say add item items.armor, armor is still null because it hasn't executed this line of code. So armor is naturally set to null. So to avoid this, what we're going to do is we're not going to execute these two lines of statement in start, but we're going to execute it in update only once. And we're going to do this by having a private bool test. And we're going to say if you have not tested yet, we're going to go to the test method and do the testing over here, and set test is equal to true because we have tested, and now it'll not be able to go through this if statement. So just test once, and now if you go and play, it's going to give a comm 0 0 and breaks 1 1. So basically the first time it successfully adds 0 0, and the second time it cannot add it to slot 1 1 because it is already occupied. So now after this, what we're going to do is we're going to draw the items because they're actually there, they're physically there, but we're not drawing them. So now let's start with that. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to make a special method for drawing items. So you're going to say draw items. And what we're going to do is, as you can see over here, 1 second, slots.occupied, occupied is equal to true. So items.add item, there we go. So basically whenever we add an item, we add the item to the items list, which is over here. So basically every time you add an item, this item list is increasing. So what we want to do is we want to for loop through these items, and then draw each one of them. So I'm not sure if I've gone to for loops before, but I'll explain you what they are. Oh, well, I have a for loop over here, so probably did go before it. So I want to explain what it is. So for count is equal to 0, count is less than items dot size length. I'm a little lost. 1 second, guys. Count. There we go. Sorry. So that's basically how many elements are there. Sorry, I'm coding on this after a long time. Actually, didn't get a lot of time to work. Okay. So now we loop through every item, and we're gonna say items.draw. So basically, what we need is in our we are gonna need our picture over here. Oops, sorry, not over here. I was thinking. So as you can see, we have our image over here, right? So in our item class, we have our image. So we want to draw this image. So for example, here we have our items, and we have an item over here, and this image is a chest. So we want to draw the chest onto the inventory. Oops, sorry, that's Java. Going back over to here, and then we're gonna go here, and over here we're gonna say GUI.draw texture. 1 second. What were the parameters? Position, and for now let's just say new rect 0 0 0 0 just for now. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna say items.get. No, sorry, items count dot image. So as you can see, we're drawing a texture and we're getting their image. But now what we want to do is we want to know their position. So what we're going to do is we're going to say items count dot x. So we're getting the x position, getting the y position, getting the width, and getting the height. But now we need to make sure that these are not the actual x and y, they're actually just x and y in terms of slots. So basically, if the item is at 0 0, it's just gonna say 0 0, but not the actual x and y. It's just gonna say x and y in terms of the slots. So for that, what we need to do is we need to multiply it to the slot. Which one is it? Width, which is 29, and slot height, which is 30. And not these, sorry, those are different. So we need to multiply the x with 29 and height with 30, and then it's going to give the actual values. I'm going to say times width, because that is the width of every slot. So that's going to give us the absolute value. If that doesn't make sense, it will do after we code this. Sorry, I'm just a little confused. Oh, there we go. Times height. So we got this, we got this, we got this, and we got this. But we're still not done. What's going to happen is if I perceive this right. 1 second. On GUI, draw items. So now we draw the slots, and we're going to draw the items over them. Exactly. So what's happening is it's actually drawing the chest now, but the thing is, instead of drawing it over here, it's drawing it at the start of the screen. So we need to draw it over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here, and we're going to add it to the position dot x and position dot y of our inventory, which should be right. Yep. Yeah, as expected, because our position is actually over here, but we want it over here. So to basically get it over here, we need the x and y of our actual inventory. So we actually store the X and Y of our actually inventory over here. So slot X, slot Y. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead over to here. I'm going to say slot X plus this. Whoops. There we go. And where is the other comma? There. Slot Y plus. And now it should draw it on the right position. There we go. As you can see, it draws it in the box, but now again we can see it actually does not draw it perfectly, and we wanted to draw it inside the box, but it's drawing over the box and it does not look very nice. So we'll just fix that in a moment, but I will show you that we can actually add other stuff as well. So for example, we're going to add 2 and 2. Let's see if that breaks or not. I'm not sure if that's legal. No, wait, yes. It's legal, but it does not draw it. We have a small bug over here. 0, 1, 2. So it should be drawing it 0, 1, 2. Wait, 1, 2. So it should be drawing it over here, but it doesn't draw it. I will be back in a second and check why. Okay, so this will be a little bit annoying. The problem lies in the fact that we get our items from here. So we know that armor is a static variable. So that what that basically means is it is only one object of itself. So first of all, what's going to happen is when we add our item, we need to go over here and say item.x is equal to x and item.y is equal to y, because first we need to set their x and y coordinates. We forgot to do that in the previous lesson, so now we're going to do that. But now the problem is if we set our x and y of one item, it's going to change it in every other item, because this over here is a static variable, and that's what it means. Static means that if you change it at one place, it's going to change it at everywhere. So what we're going to do is, if you have not understand what this means, it's no worries. I'm just going to give you the solution and you're going to understand. So what you're going to say is void armor. Static, we're going to say public static armor get armor and ID. So basically we're going to make a method and we're going to return, instead of saying over here, instead of saying add items.armor, so instead of directly accessing this, because what we're doing is we're saying items.armor 0, instead of directly accessing this, we're going to create a new armor and return back a new armor. If that doesn't make sense, it's fine. It's going to make sense now. We're going to say armor is equal to new armor. Then make new armor. And then we're going to say armor.set. We don't need to set the x and y. What do we need to set? Yeah, that's it. We just need to set the image. So armor.image is equal to armor id dot it's going to be items dot armor, there we go, dot image. So basically what we're doing is instead of returning back a static armor, we're making a new armor, so every armor is on its own. If that doesn't make a lot of sense, it's fine. You'll understand later on. So you're going to have armor. We're making a completely new armor to send back. And we're going to set the armor's image to the appropriate image, because we're going to have the ID. And we'll just make this private, so we don't accidentally access this, because now we don't want to accidentally access this anymore. And so we're going to go back over here. Instead of saying items.armor, now we're just going to say items.getArmor, and we're going to put in 0. So that's the only change. Now if you don't understand this, you need to look what static means, because I can't really explain what static means in just 5 minutes, because it's going to take a whole new lesson, a new video for that. To do a little more small change, where we return back our armor in the items class, we're going to say armor.width is equal to this thing, or just copy paste that, and .width. And I'll just tell you why. So 1 second. So essentially what we're doing over here is what we're doing is we have a list of items over here, and what we're doing is we're duplicating this item over here and returning that duplicated item. Previously what we were doing is we were not duplicating the item, but we were just taking in the item, which is wrong. So here we can say we're duplicating an item, we're saying new armor, and we're setting all its attributes, which is equal to this. So you're setting all the attributes over which is equal to this. So now the attributes is going to have a chest image and a width of 2 and a height of 2 over here. Now if we were able to add a new element, so if we say 2 and we change this to 3 and 3 and 3, and let's give it another let it be chest for now. So if we put in if we add 0 0 and we put in 0 2 and we get in 1, it's going to print, what it's going to do is it's going to go to the first, it's going to say get armor 0. So it's going to make a new armor and return the attributes of the 0th element over here. And if we get armor 1, it's going to go to the first element and return the attributes of this element 1. So that's what it's going to do. And let's see if this works. And as you can see, it puts in the element over here. Well, this is a little bit awkward because it's usually not 3 3 but 3 2 2. Change this to 2 2. And as you can see, we're just continuously adding on elements and elements. Now we need to do some testing because as you can see, you could see before when you put in 3 3, even though it didn't fit in the inventory, it allowed it to go over the inventory size, which is wrong, but we can fix that afterwards. That's completely fine. And it also gives an index out of range exception, which is fine. We can handle that afterwards. So let's take the element out for now. And now what we discussed about was that how the item is awkwardly positioned and it's actually not inside that box and it looks very awkward. We're going to fix that now. So basically this is a little bit of artistic work. You need to go to where you draw your items and basically add a small value, maybe 4. I'll explain you what this does. And where's the comma? 4. So what is this doing is how you have the box over here, right? The way you have the box, it's going to push it a little bit inside, as you can see. So it's kind of inside the box. Now what you want to do is you want to reduce its height and width so it goes smaller and is completely inside the box. So usually when you put in a 4, it is double the value over here. So you're going to say -8. Usually it's double the value, that works out fine. And you're going to put in -8 in the height and width of. So you can just look at this code and make sure it's right, because it's a very long code. And as you can see, it is appropriately inside the box, and it looks reasonably more realistic, like in Diablo. And so now we can see we're adding stuff now. And we have a problem. Oh, over here, of course. Because we're calling element 1 over here, as you can see. But we only have element 0, but we don't have 1, so we're trying to call an element that does not exist at all. And we still get the problem. Is it because we didn't save it? Oh yeah, it's because we didn't save it. There we go. Now we can try to add a new element. Let's name it, let's put it at 2 2. I mean a new armor, not element. And as you can see, it added another one. So now what we want to do is, first of all, we ran into the issue where it could add stuff that is out of bounds. So for example, over here, as you can see, it is actually adding the chest out of bounds over here. So we want to stop that first. So for that, what we're going to do is we're going to check if the X, if it is actually going out of bounds. it's not very hard. So what we're going to do over here is in our add items, we're going to go over here. We're going to say if our x plus item dot width is more than 10. It can be 10, but it can't be more than 10. Can it? Yes. Then we're going to return. And we're just going to do a debug.log out of x bounds. So that means it has gone out of bounds. And we're going to return. We're just not going to do anything. Or else if same thing happens with the y. And we're just actually going to slot with x to make it better. We're just going to replace the 10 and 4 by these variables. Because now the logic behind this is if our x plus item width is exceeding our inventory size, or if our y plus items dot height is exceeding our inventory height, we're not gonna add it. So hopefully this works. Hopefully all this works. So as you can see, it says out of y bounds because it went over here. It exceeded the y bounds. So now that we have dealt with that problem, we need to deal with the problem of actually dragging our items. So basically, you know how we should be able to drag our items. And another problem you can see over here is while my character is standing and I click on the inventory, it tries to move on the terrain because we are actually clicking on the terrain, as you can see. So those two problems we'll fix right now. Okay, so first we're going to deal with the fact that we should not be able to move over the terrain while we're clicking on the inventory because that's very annoying. So first we're going to have we're going to go to our click to move. And what we're going to do over here is we're going to have a public static boolean bool busy, let's say GUI busy, or let's just call it busy. So this variable basically means what this is going to define is if our GUI is on, if our mouse is over the GUI, we're going to set this to true. And when this is true, we're going to say if you're not busy, only then you can move on the terrain. So you can see what this does. Basically, we're going to set busy to true while we're working on the GUI, so it cannot actually move anymore. So we're going to work on that now. So in our inventory, we're going to have a method. So we're going to call it void. We're going to call it detect GUI action. So basically, when our mouse is hovering over the GUI, this is going to set the click to move dot busy is equal to true. So basically, we're going to say if our input dot mouse get mouse dot mouse position dot x falls within the range of our position, our rectangle position. So the way we're gonna do this, if input dot mouse dot x is more than let me get this right. Position. Why doesn't it give me this? Dot x and is less than position dot x plus position not width, no, dot width. There we go. So this is basically what this is saying is if our position dot x, if our mouse position is between the position of our frame is within the position of our frame in terms of X. I cannot explain it any better. I'm sorry, but I know it is a horrible explanation, but it's very hard for me to explain. But it should be pretty self-explanatory, I guess. And then we're going to change this to Y. Y. Y and height. And if we get into this statement, we're going to say click to, so it's basically saying now if our mouse is in our frame, we're going to set the busy to true, or we're going to say click to move that busy is equal to false. Hopefully this works. Probably not. As I said, probably not. Okay. Oh, that's because we don't even call this. Whoopsie. Yeah, so yeah, it's always important to call the methods. So we're going to call the methods. And of course, still doesn't work. Okay, guys, I'll just be back in a second as always because apparently I'm not that good at programming. I'll just be back. Yeah, I'm back with the silly mistake I done. So basically, you know, as we go in over here and we said click to move that busy is equal to true, that's fine. But after it comes out of the if statement, it sets busy to false anyway. So what we want to do is, once it sets it to true, we want to break out. So we're just going to say return, so it never goes through here. But if it never is able to go through these two if statements, it's just going to set it to false. If that makes any sense. So now we're going to just go over here, and as we can see, we just sit over here, and while we click on our GUI, we're not able to do anything. Look. There we go. We can see a little bug over here that when we click on this, it just stops. We will fix that as well. Okay, so there you go, guys. I'm just gonna stop for now because it's been too long. We've got stuff drawing on our inventory, and it does not interrupt our click to move. So basically, when we click on our inventory, it doesn't move over it. So that's all for today, guys. Next time we're gonna learn how to swap items. So basically dragging items over, which is going to be pretty cool. And then after that, we're also going to work on actually bringing these items into the character slot, so it gives us extra attributes and all the good stuff. We might also work on putting in gold as well over here, putting in currency and stuff. So it's going to be pretty exciting, guys. Keep it up, guys. Being tuned for other videos as well. And also I wanted to tell you guys that within 3 weeks, after my spring break, I will be coming out with the alpha version of my game. So I really want you guys to check it out and do some testing as well. I will probably put out some rewards for people who come and test the alpha and give me feedback as well. So I don't know what kind of rewards I will give you. Maybe to people who try. People who test the program will get maybe an extra special exclusive tutorial video on how to do something special, or maybe you can even demand for some rewards that you want and I can give it out. So that's gonna be cool, guys. Keep it up, and bye bye, guys.